Welcome back, students and family members, to another history lesson with Mr. Panza, the Roanoke and Jamestown settlements. So now England has lots of land claims and a ton more confidence. That's because they just defeated Spain in the Spanish Armada. They became bigger and stronger than Spain. That allowed them to claim more land, specifically in North America. England's rulers had one thing on their mind. They wanted a colony in the continent of North America. They were hoping to find silver and gold there. The first attempt was in 1585, off the coast of North Carolina. Imagine worst-case scenario here. Nothing good was happening. The soil was sandy, and it wasn't good for growing crops. They also didn't find any silver or gold. No chance for them to do a victory lap. Many colonists left and went back to England because there wasn't much going on, and they didn't think they were going to have much success in North America. 2 years later, in 1587, they try again, this time with a new leader named John White. Things were going well, then something crazy happened. John went back to England to get some more supplies. When he came back from England to North America 3 years later, in about 1590, everyone was gone. This is still a mystery today. Now, there are some theories as to what happened, but nobody knows for sure exactly what happened to those original settlers on that area of the North American continent. No one ever figured out what happened to what they called the lost colony. The only trace that was left behind was carved into a nearby tree, and it was the name of a local tribe, Croachan. So as you can imagine, England was a little nervous after this. It took until 1606 before they decided to try and get back over there, but it was going to take money. In order to do that, they started a company known as the Virginia Company. They received a charter from the King of England, which is just a document that allows them to set up land in a new spot, and that will allow them to settle in North America. That document that the Virginia Company was giving permission of the king to take on this new challenge in 1606. There was a problem for the Virginia Company. They had lots of things to buy, ships, they had no money, but they did have an idea that sticks around in today's culture. Stock. They asked community members to take a little chance and invest in the Virginia Company. In the event that they would grow larger, the people that invested at the beginning would also make money. What they sold was stock, little pieces of their company. If you do this, you actually own a small portion of the company, which means if the company started to find gold, make lots of money, and claims those stockholders also make money. However, if they went missing again, you lose your investment. We still do this today on the New York Stock Exchange. The Virginia Company was set to borrow the money and explore to see if they'd be able to be successful. Finally, the Virginia Company was able to raise enough money by 1607. So they took 100 men and boys and traveled to present-day Virginia. When they arrived there, they named their settlement Jamestown after King James I, who wouldn't want to get good. They wanted to get on the good side of the king. Imagine, again, worst-case scenario when they get over there. This is what the settlers faced. Insects that were carrying diseases, the soil still not good for growing, and men that were there, they weren't trained or ready to be successful in this new land. They didn't know how to farm, so instead, they decided to just search for gold. Not a great idea, and not a surprise, they didn't find any gold. Worse, they started to run out of food. Within a few months, many settlers actually died, and winter was right around the corner, which meant more were about to die. Finally, John Smith stepped up to the plate. He made it very clear to everyone, with his words, that if you weren't going to be willing to plant crops, then obviously you wouldn't be eating. He has a famous quote. He says, "He who does not work will not eat." It was that simple. Things were still not great. John Smith wound up going back to England in 1609, and that winter was known as the Starving Winter. That's because most colonists ended up dying. I guess we'll find out and see if they decide to continue or give up on the colonies in the North American continent. To be continued.